Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this morning? I would like to welcome everyone to Coffee with the Mayor. Again, my name is Edward Steave. If you don't know, the sound on the speaker was throwing me. Edward Steave, Trustee Edward Steave. So it's good to see everybody this morning. Thank you for spending your time with us on Saturday morning. Coffee with the Mayor has been a consistent program that the mayor's been putting on for the last 6 years since he's been in, and we always try to give good information. This is recorded, and people watch it on Channel 4 to get the information. So we want to at least recognize the elected officials here in the building. You have Trustee Tammy Brown. You got Commissioner Lester Long. You got Mary Kay Duggan, Clerk Mary Kay Duggan. And we have Trustee Louise Copeland from the library board in the back. Thank you for coming out today. So again, we have a lot of good information today. We have some presentations about lead abatement and some programs that's going on from the county that people can partake in. And so pay attention. Hope you enjoy yourself. And please, police and fire. We have the chief of police, or deputy chief of police, and the chief of the fire department. And Matt Stacey, the superintendent of public works. So without no further ado, we have Mayor Rogers as well.
Good morning, everybody. We're going to bring up, first of all, we have to be out of here by 10:30. The Dorchester banquet facilities, they have been going crazy with reservations, and they're booked throughout the year. So if you plan on holding an event, please choose the Dorchester facility for your entertainment or event. I'm going to introduce our first guest today. Come on up, Jason. Jason Applegate is from Cook County, and he's going to present a presentation today about lead abatement, correct? So as some of you may know, there's been a lot of news about lead abatement in the news, and Jason's going to bring us up to speed and tell you what Cook County offers in his department. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Rogers. Good morning, everybody. I'm here today to talk to you about lead abatement. Get my notes out. So this is a free program. And I say that right off the bat because a lot of people think, well, what's the catch? About a year or so ago, Cook County wrote a grant to abate lead from residential housing in 10 of our local communities here in Cook. So, like I said, it's a free program, and even though you may not qualify today, I definitely know everybody in this room knows somebody that does. The reason I say that, and I'm kind of going to go at this backwards today, is the housing stock in Dolton proper is majority post-1978. Okay, 1978 is the magic number because that's when the CDC outlawed lead paint for residential use. Okay, so at that point, that's when HUD says, that's the cutoff for this grant. Why it's important to abate lead from your home is obviously because, I'm sorry, can everybody hear me? Is because it's poisonous and it can harm not only children but adults as well. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have heard in the news a lot lately about Olympia Park in Will County, well, and Southern Cook, I guess there. But that's lead in the water. Today, I'm talking specifically about lead in the paint. Okay. So lead was added to paint, and I don't know how many people know this, but lead was added to paint, obviously because it lasts longer. You don't have to do as many applications. It stands up to the weather and our harsh conditions up here in the northern Midwest. So for that reason, then you don't have to paint as much and as often, obviously. So the reason why Dolton was chosen as one of the 10 communities in Cook is off of census tract data and the obviously age of the housing stock, number one, And then ultimately, number 2, the density of elevated blood lead levels for children. We don't have a good way, when I say we as a society, we don't have a good way yet to detect lead in homes unless we, proactively go out and test places. However, in most cases, when we become aware of lead in homes, it's because a child has tested positive for an elevated blood lead level. And even though we're working on that, this grant that I'm here talking to you today about is primary prevention, if you will. And the reason why we call it that is because where in the past we might have waited for a child's blood lead level to escalate to maybe a 10 or a 15, this grant starts addressing that at a 5. Okay, and I'd get into the weeds about blood leads and all that, but that's not important for this presentation. So for that reason, we're acting sooner than we would have historically, just because of the level that we've dropped it to, and then the response, or rather what the state calls an action level for a blood lead. So I've already talked about a couple of the small things regarding how to qualify for this program. For example, we're all looking for pre-1978 homes, which I've said obviously more than 50% of the houses in Dolton would qualify for that. One of the other major qualifiers is a child under the age of 6, okay? Also a pregnant mother. And then of course there's a financial component to it just because it is a HUD or a federal grant. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, I may not have school-age children living at home. Well, the grant was written in a way such that if you're a grandparent that watches your child for a significant amount of time being approximately 60 hours a year, and that can be in whatever way, shape, or form, okay? But you would then qualify for this program, all right? The next thing I'd like to say specifically about this is that this is exclusive to Dolton. Now, obviously, there's 10 communities Cook County wide, but we want to get the word out about this program, mostly because not all the communities are able to get this assistance, and this is a very good resource, especially for folks that might not otherwise know they have either lead in their home. We can definitely come out and identify that once you qualify. And a typical lead test, or to have a risk assessor come out and inspect your home, is anywhere from $600 to $1,000. I mean, that's a pretty hefty inspection just to find out whether you do or don't have lead. Once we identify that at that point we would come out and create a scope of work. Once the scope of work is created, then we'd hire a contractor. And then once the contractor is hired, it takes about a week and a half to do the construction and abate the lead from your home. So you're probably asking yourself, well, what does this cover? Anything that was once or ever painted in your home that we identify as positive lead. So it could be the walls, it could be the floor molding, it could be the crown molding, the trim, it could be doors, windows. Most of the time we see a lot of lead paint on the exterior, again, knowing that it stands up to weather. That's why, those were doused with several applications. And in a lot of cases, well, not in a lot of cases, in all cases, we achieve a lead-safe house. So what does that mean? No, it's not lead-free, because otherwise we'd have to tear everything out of the house that had a lead component to it. So what we're trying to do is stabilize and maintain those surfaces so that folks can continue to live in their homes and not continually be lead poisoned. One of the other exciting things that's going on in Dolton, actually, to date, I've actually done 3 homes that we've completed. One just last week. So we're in your guys' area, and we've definitely been working to just establish a greater connection with the community, and just really understand what people need and try to get the word out about this very helpful and useful grant. With that said, I know I've said a lot and filled you guys full of information. Is there any questions right off the bat? Yes, Mayor.
How actually is the home assessed for lead?
That's a great question. So we send a risk assessor out, and they use an XRF, which is an X-ray fluorescent analyzer, and they're going to hit with this gun every painted surface in the house to identify positive or negative lead. Okay. Most specifically, we're going to be looking at deteriorated lead surfaces because that causes the greatest hazard for any of the occupants in the home. Once they finish that inspection, they're also going to ask a battery of questions just about where people generally are in the home and what the activities are, and that also helps us identify, how somebody might be being exposed to those areas where lead is deteriorated.
You mentioned the thing about children, the blood level lead, the lead blood level in children. So are the children assessed, or are they referred to the agency?
No, that's a good question. Like I said, most of the time when we find out that a child has an elevated blood lead level, that's from their primary care physician. It was a school. I'm a miss of words. So for their school physical, anytime they would go and get a normal blood test, that's normally when it pops up. So to answer your question, once that's been identified, that kind of activates us, or if we have somebody proactively call from the community, we can also do that. And our process isn't necessarily removed from the child's elevated blood lead level, but after we go through and do make the house lead safe, then the child would take subsequent trips to the doctor to get lead tests, and that's every 3 to 6 months. But that's a very small, thing, I guess, in the grand scheme.
Okay. And what about the funding? Is there expiration for the funding or expiration date for this program?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. We, Cook County received a $2 million grant. It started August of last year approximately, and it runs for 3 years. So this grant will conclude on July of 2021. However, with the need in Cook County, in suburban Cook County, and just overall general, the housing stock and the condition of the housing stock, we're definitely going to be reapplying for this grant several times in the future.
Okay. Is there a limited amount of money that they spend on one home?
Sure. It's not, I've had houses that we've done a single window on in the basement where it was the old original, if you will, portion of the home that hadn't been updated or remodeled. And then we have houses like, I'm sure you guys have some areas that are a little more historic here in Dolton where, I don't mean to joke, but essentially the whole house is dipped in lead. So it's not so much a dollar amount per property. It's what we need to do to make the home lead safe for the residents.
Okay. So if you got a wall and you detect lead in the paint that's on the wall, so you actually repaint the walls, or how do you make it, stabilize it?
So lead dust is heavy. And when that leaded surface starts to deteriorate, it cracks, chips, peels, flakes, and then it travels down to the floor in the form of dust. In most cases, the children playing on the floor contract lead poisoning hand to mouth. I mean, they're either putting it in their mouth or they're eating it. So what we do, once we establish that a surface is positive and deteriorated, we then come along, and if it's a wall, for example, we would wet scrape and then repaint or stabilize that wall so that in the future it's hopefully easier to maintain, and it kind of gives the occupant a head start on the maintenance of that particular surface. Now, if it's for example, like a wood window or a door, in most cases we'll replace those components of the house. There's a lot of reason for this. One, because it's more of a permanent fix, if you will. Also, it's going to create a better thermal barrier or more efficient property, because now we don't have a big hole in the house from an old window that's not only covered or painted with lead, but is also leaking in the winter and in the summer.
So if all the rooms in the house were painted at the same time with lead-based paint, you would actually try to solve that, cure it?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways we can do that. If we find positive lead deteriorated paint, wherever we find this, we can either A, stabilize it, like I said, by wet scraping and painting, or B, we can completely encapsulate it. Meaning, for example, areas that like old plaster walls, for example, those aren't very fun to repair, and sometimes it's more of a headache than not. So what we'll do to encapsulate it is just take drywall and completely put it over top of everything, and then repaint the room. And so then that way, that leaded surface is encapsulated and is no longer a hazard to the occupants.
Okay, great. Do you know if the paints today that are being produced contain lead?
That's a great question, and yes, they do. Unfortunately, it's a very low level that the CDC has allowed, and we're talking nominal traces. However, it is still allowed to this day, which is, well, it's just very sad.
Right. So if, what's the number to call, or how do they contact your agency in regards to trying to participate in this program?
Yeah, so I have a flyer out here today, and I'm going to be sitting at the table after the coffee with the mayor today. If anybody would like to come up and talk to me, I've got business cards. You can sign up. But down here in the Southland, we are working with Neighborhood Housing Services, and you can get that number from that flyer. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick that I believe I might have forgotten is this isn't just an owner-occupied thing. If you're a property owner and have tenants, it's ultimately the tenants' financials that we'll utilize to qualify them for the grant. So it's not just a owner-occupied thing. If you have a building that's 4 units or less, we can come out and, well, assuming that you qualify and the tenants qualify, we can come out and do an assessment on that type of property as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Applegate. Let's give
Thank you
Mr.
very
Applegate a round of applause. Oh, you got a question? Question? Okay. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Yeah.
Hi, my question is, I noticed that you were mainly talking about children. What about us senior people? If we have lead, how would we know it? Or what do you do in that case?
Unfortunately, this grant that I'm here to talk about today is more targeted at the homes with children and pregnant women. However, if you do, like I said, have children that spend significant amount of time at your home, for example, grandchildren, or whoever you might be watching, for example, if it accumulates up to 60 hours a year, you would then qualify for this same grant. And I don't want people to get hung up on that, because I understand that feels like, well, exclusion by any other name. However, that's something else that we've made sure we wrote into the grant is the fact that anyone can apply that has school-aged children living or staying at the home for a significant amount of time. No problem.
The 3 homes you did in Dolton, can you say, did you find lead?
2 of the homes we did, yes. And we did construction on those homes and made them lead safe. Each of them took about a week and a half to do, and they were actually on the more southern side of town, so that was really good. We also found another home that was central to Dolton, and after sending, so they qualified for the program, and after sending the risk assessor out, we were actually able to confirm that the house was lead-free. So at that point in time, we created a certificate for that homeowner with the risk assessor that said that we've, actively identified that your home is lead-free, lead-safe. So that was actually a really nice thing to find, because most of the time we do find lead, and most of the time it's deteriorated. So 3 homes as of this day. Yes, ma'am.
Is lead found in our piping?
It is, and that's why a lot of times it becomes an issue with the water, or people get a little excited about that. The reason why and I hope you don't think I'm playing this down, but the reason why everybody gets excited when lead is found in water is because of whatever the determinants, whatever happened inside the pipe that changed, because there's lead scale on the inside of pipes, and once that water alkalinity changes or the pH or whatever, that can shake that scale loose, and then ultimately it comes out of your faucet, and then that's how people are consuming it. But that's a very nominal exposure to lead. And the reason I say that is because you're only drinking that leaded water when you're drinking it. The rest of the time, all these painted walls and doors and windows in your home, you're around them all the time, and we spend the majority of our lives in our homes, and so that's where the greatest exposure is coming from when it comes to lead contamination. Mm-hmm. We're handing them out. Not every inspection, mostly where they're at. So I had a question. Sharon asked if, or I'm sorry, Sandra asked if we're handing out lead water purifiers. We actually, and it's not lead water, it's just water purifiers, if you will. But if a resident was to request that upon an inspection, we'd have no problem giving you one. And then if that gives you greater peace of mind, that's definitely what we want to do.
You know, they had lead in South Village, and that's just down the street from us. So how can we be for sure that we don't have lead in our water? I mean, I don't want to drink out of the faucet, just drinking out of it, because I have a filter, because I don't trust it. So I don't know.
No, I understand your concern. Sauk Village is definitely on another water system. I believe the Director of Public Works is here today, and he might be able to speak to that a little bit better about your guys' water system and how that works, but I know that that's a separate unit. Now, it's good that you still use a water filter, and I mean, if anybody is concerned about that, they should use a water filter. Yeah.
I can speak to the clarity and the goodness of our water. Last week, I had my water tested by this company trying to get me a filtration system, and my tap water was excellent. So we're drinking good stuff. At least I am in my house. Yes.
Yeah.
Where do you live? Yeah. I live in Dolton.
Yeah.
Good morning. My question is that you came here to do a presentation on the lead poisoning for children. Are you going into the schools and have you done presentations there? Because we do know that schools registration have begun in the grammar schools, so we could just call you for at one of these numbers to get you to come out to speak to our parents?
So yes, to answer your question, we have been to all the schools, we've been all to the child care centers, we've handed out our information about as broadly as you can do it. Now, if someone specifically wanted us, much like today, if they wanted us to come out and speak on lead, we don't have a problem doing that. We're servants to the residents of Cook County, so we want to make sure that we come out and help the residents, which is why we're getting this information out today. But if someone specifically wanted us to come to a function, a neighborhood event, or even do health education, we're more than happy to do that. Those are the numbers for the intake company. I have business cards up front that you can contact me or any of my associates through the Department of Public Health.
We also did, we have a show called Taking Another Look. So we did a show about, I think, 2 weeks ago. That will be up this week, finished on YouTube and on our channel and on our website. And then this will be playing on Channel 4. So we'll have double exposure without the next few weeks about getting this out to the residents of Dolton. So if you watch Channel 4, if you don't have Channel 4, you can go to AT&T and Channel 99. If you have neither, you got YouTube, you can watch it right on your phone on YouTube, and you can pass it to somebody who you may know have a young child in their house, or a pregnant wife, or a pregnant woman.
Thank you, Mr. Applegate.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, some of the older homes may have lead in their water pipes. This way, sometimes you may get low water pressure. In order to remedy that, you have to change the pipes. So, so you may want to do that if, in fact, you have low pressure in your home. Now, I'm going to let Matt tell you a little bit about the quality of our water, how it's tested, when it's tested, and all of you, any residents here that had a mailbox or get mail to your home should have received a lead quality test, what do you call them, newsletter.
Yeah, consumer confidence. The letter you got, you should have received in your, first of all, good morning, everybody. The letter you guys got in your mail in July, it's called the Consumer Confidence Report. It lets you know about the bacterias, the lead, everything, all the results that we get when we do our water testing. Our guys go out once a week to do bacteria tests. If they come back bad, we have to redo them. All of ours have been perfect, no issues at all. So they do them once a week. They got to do 6 to 10 samples once a week. Those go out to the lab, they're tested, everything is fine. We also do lead copper samples. Those are every 3 months. They go out to designated areas by the EPA. We take the result, or we take the test and all that. They get shipped out, we get the reports back. So like I said, if you go into your consumer confidence report, you can read through it. It shows our limits with all of our testing, and then it also shows you the high test results, you know, what bad water is. But we here in Dolton have passed all of our water samples and have not had any bad samples.
And the reason we do this every week, go ahead, I'm sorry. The reason we do this every week is that so we can stay on top of this. If there's any bacteria that's found in our water, and any contamination, we would get right on it and make sure that our water is clean and safe. Now, a few years ago, we had a employee, water operator, that actually wasn't doing his job. He falsified a lot of the reports. Fortunately enough, there was no contamination in our systems, and he was prosecuted and I think did some jail time.
Yes.
But we take our water quality very seriously, and we do this, and our operators receive correspondence training to stay up to date on testing our water. So as far as we know, and we can say confidently that our water is good. Yep. Thank you, Matt. Okay. We've had in the past, okay, and currently, we've had a lot of problems in our water department. Since the election, and I've been able to make some changes in several departments here. We've changing how we do business in the water department. And one of our newest employees, come on up, Sonye. She is my executive assistant, but she's been working more in the water department than she has in my office to try to get things corrected. So I wasn't expecting her today, but since she's here today, I wanted her to say a few things and answer a few questions about our water department and where we're going and how we're trying to get it up to speed. I know some of you may have had some issues with the water department, so please don't attack her. She does not have a bulletproof vest on today, but she's doing a great job. She's doing a great job in trying to change some things in the water department. Sonye, Londan.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. So one of the things we're working on in the water department is to eliminate estimated bills. So bear with us with that. We probably come out more than once or send out for rereads. I just want to let you know the billing is done around the 25th of the month, towards the end of the month. The yellow cards, they should be in by the 15th, before the 15th. So if you mail them on the 15th, that's a little too late. You can you can mail the cards, drop them off. You can call in your readings. What I have been seeing lately, a lot of the cards are coming in blank without an address, account number, or a name. It's just a reading. So we want to make sure we're filling out the yellow cards properly. Let's see what else we've been working on. Just improving the customer service overall. So we're picking up the phones more, getting the billing out on time, working with accounts that's been problem accounts and things of that nature. So if you have any issues with the water department, with your mails, with your bills, you can give me a call, 201-3294, and I'll be able to assist you with anything dealing with the water bills.
Now, Sonye, when a water meter reader leaves a yellow card, how soon should that yellow card be returned?
So when the yellow card is put in your door, it says 5 days. You want to try to get it in immediately, like 1 to 2 days. If it's the 15th, you want to bring it right away. Like I said, you want to make sure those cards are in before the 15th of each month, so that you won't get an estimated bill. You can get an actual reading.
Okay, when can they turn that yellow card in?
So again, you want to turn it in before the 15th. Before the 15th, so anywhere. So anywhere, if you're in whatever district your bills come out, you want to between the 1st and the 15th of the month. Like I said, before the 15th, so that we can get you an actual reading and not an estimated reading. We're trying to eliminate those estimated readings.
And for so many years, we were getting estimated readings, but when I said when can you turn it in and where?
Okay, where? So you can drop it off. We have a drop box in the lobby of the water department. You can mail it in, and then there's a 24-hour drop box where you can drop off your payments and the yellow cards, as well as call in the readings to us, or you can give us a call and we'll make sure we send a meter reader out to do your reading. If you don't know how to do a meter read, just give us a call and we'll get someone out there to you.
And we'll be showing on Channel 4 exactly how you should read your meter if you read your meter. So by ordinance, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mary Kay, the water meter readers are required to get into your home at least once a year, and that's by ordinance. So for a number of years, these bills have been estimated. Whether you did not turn in a yellow card or whether the meter reader did not read the meter. And so what is happening is we have tried to get actual readings and cut out all of these estimated readings, because for years there's been some homes here that have been estimated at the lowest amount for years. And then when the meter reader actually gets in there and takes your reading, you get a $3,000 bill because he took the actual reading from the very last time it was read. So what we're doing now actually is we're trying to get this grant where we will replace all the meters in the village and all the meters will be read by satellite. That way a person does not have to get in your home to read it. But if we can't get a reading, then a team will be dispatched to your home to either check whether or not the meter is actually being read and or if the meter is broken. So hopefully in the next year or two, we'll be able to get the matching part of that grant to actually start replacing all the water meters in the village.
And I'm glad the mayor spoke on that. So if you get a bill for $34.60, more than likely that's an estimated bill. So you want to make sure you're calling in or reading your meters or dropping off your yellow cards to us. Like I said, if you don't know how, we'll come out. But if you get an estimated bill, at least 2 billing cycles, please get in touch with us so we can eliminate you being underbilled, because we don't want you to be surprised with a large bill. So work with us so we can work with you to fix that problem. 9 times out of 10, you're underbilled, and when we do catch it, you have $400 or $500 plus bill. So that's one of the issues we've been seeing in the water department. So by not letting us in, it'll constantly build up, and we will go back 2 or 3 years to recuperate that money that was owed to the city.
The other issue is people come in and say, hey, I got a $300 water bill. You got to remember that part of that water bill is the sewer and also garbage. So that whole bill is not water.
And remember, it's for 3 months. It's quarterly. So it's just not 1 month. A lot of times the residents look at it as it's 1 month bill. That's a 3-month bill.
And so we only bill right now, and hopefully in the future we'll be billing monthly. We only bill right now 4 times a year. So the shut-offs and the collection process has increased because what we were doing was we were actually carrying over about $2 million to $2.5 million each quarter to the next quarter. And with those delinquent bills, we're looking at outstanding, collections of $4 million. So we have to pay the city of Chicago. We want to get back on track with that. And so anyway, the collections have been stepped up. The shut-offs have been stepped up, and that's the only way we've been able to get residents to comply with paying the water bill. So.
Okay, and then the last thing, I just want to let you know, when you cannot pay your bill, please call in, make payment arrangements. We do accept payment arrangements, but if you breach the payment arrangement, you will be disconnected. So we want to make sure if there's a hardship or any reason that you can't make that payment, give us a courtesy call or stop by the office and let us know so we can help you with that, so you won't be disconnected for non-payment, okay?
Sonye's background is actually in human resources. She's got, I guess, 11, 15 years in human resource experience, but we need some help in the water department. She's doing a great job over there. Any questions? Yes.
I have a question regarding...
Hold on.
Good morning, the mayor and everybody. My question is, in terms of the billing, is this based on actual usage or is there a minimal consumption? Because my consumption is less than what I'm being billed. So to me, my reading's not gonna ever be accurate because there's a minimal that's being billed.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying. Most bills are actual readings. So you're saying that you're using less than 10 consumptions. That's what you're saying. I would need to look at your account to see if that's the case. On your actual bills, were you seeing like 8, 9s, anything under?
It's always 10. It's never been lower than 10, although my reading is less than what I'm being billed.
Okay, I would want to look at your account because I want to make sure if it's saying 10, I want to make sure that's not an estimated read because usually 10 consumption is an estimated. So that's something I would want to look at.
Well, now, you know, she don't.
Yeah, it is the minimum.
Yeah.
Because 10 consumptions is the minimum, yes.
Yes.
Regardless of whether or not if I had 4 or 5, you still would bill me for 10, but my reading would never be accurate.
Yes. Now, let me explain this. Every utility company charges you a minimum. So, for example, if you turn off your lights for the whole month, don't even use your lights, there's a minimum billing. It's called a service charge. So every utility company, Night Court, same way. You turn off your gas, they come out, same reading for 3 months, you don't use your gas, there's a minimum billing. Same here.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So that to answer your question, yes. If you use less than 10, you'll still be billed for the minimum 10 consumptions, yes.
Any other questions? All right, thank
By
you,
the
Sonye.
way, the 10 consumptions is $56.10 for 3 months. So that $134 does include the sewer and garbage. So that 10 consumption for the 3 months is only $56.10. So
it's
that's
less-
a minimum.
Yeah, it's less than $20 a month. Okay. Thank you,
you.
Sonye. Trustee Holmes, you came in while we weren't looking. Okay, welcome, Trustee Holmes, this morning. I just want to mention a few announcements that we have. Where we're running on time. I left my. 40, okay. Okay. Trustee Tammy, come on up. You get something? Okay. All right. I just want to mention a couple of things. We received, I'm not sure if everyone knows, we received a $19 million grant in regards to upgrading our railroad crossings here. That grant, actually, there was a $2 million grant that was available to do the study, and then after the study was done, we received a $19 million grant, which we will be upgrading all our crossings, which will include, hopefully, an overpass, because most of our crossings are blocked. We have 75 trains a day to go through the village of Dolton, 7 different railroads. Some of the trains that come through are well over 100 cars. They block all the crossings at one time. So hopefully we'll receive an overpass at one of those crossings so you can actually get across when the trains come through or are sitting in our fire department, police department also. Yes.
Will those include the silent barriers that goes across the train tracks? Because the reason why I'm asking is that I live behind the railroad tracks, and they have started to settle our property a little bit faster. So are there barriers that we can put up according to the grant that you have?
I don't understand you.
You know, they have the silent barriers that goes across the tracks.
To reduce the sound?
To reduce the sound.
Of the railroad itself or the whistles?
Correct. That's correct.
I don't think that includes it, but we can, look into that. Now, what we're also working on is quiet crossings.
Okay.
Because, sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, those whistles blow.
We get the same thing.
Yeah, those whistles blow. It actually takes about 4 to 6 years to make that happen. We started it. I tried to get it done 4.5 years or 5 years ago. Couldn't get the support. We have the support now. It's in progress, and eventually we will have quiet crossings. Those are not high-speed rails, so we don't really need the horns blowing like that, throughout the day and night. Last week we had our Gospel Fest. Thank all of you that came out. It didn't cost the village any money. We had some donations and some sponsors, and they put on the Gospel Fest last Sunday. And then last Saturday, District 205 and the Music Alliance had their picnic out there. We had over 3,000 people. Went well, no incidents, safe. It was from 12 to 8. Everybody was out of the area about 9:30. And our police department and the fire department and Public Works did a great job on doing what they do. So in the future, we plan on having additional events. Make a note that on Saturday, October 24th at the Melanie Fitness Center, we're going to have our first annual Senior Fest. So some of you may consider yourselves seniors at 50 because AARP does. Some of you get different benefits at 60 and 65, but if you're interested to come out to our Senior Fest August 24th. That's Saturday, August 24th from noon to 5. There will be police demonstrations, fire department demonstrations, entertainment, blood pressure checks, giveaways, free haircuts for the seniors. And we're trying to locate someone right now to give maybe some free manicures and things for our female seniors. So come on out on August 24th, that's Saturday, between 12 and 5 p.m. at the Melanie Fitness Center. There will be a suggestion box that will be placed in the water department. So if you have any suggestions and or complaints, put them in the suggestion box in the water department. It should be up next week. We've added a staffing agency that's located in the lower level of the Village Hall. They are an agency that staffs for independent contractors, anybody, whether seniors, part-time or full-time, 40 to 48 hours a week between the hours of, they're at Village Hall between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So if you're looking for employment, they can place you in employment in Indiana and or Illinois. This is a free service. So if you know anybody that's looking for employment, please have them. There's no appointment necessary. You have to have a government ID, government issue ID, whether it's state ID or federal government issued ID, and a Social Security card, and come in downstairs, lower level, 10 a.m. between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Trustee Brown? That's what I said, Monday through Thursday. Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Good morning. Bear with me. I went to sunrise service this morning, so I've been up since 2 a.m. But
who are you? Who are you again?
Trustee Tammy Brown. I'm sorry. Trustee Tammy Brown, good morning. I want to bring some information to you. We've partnered with, the Village of Dolton has partnered with Partners in Community Building, and what they're going to do, they're going to work with, they're going to work to improve the lifestyle of seniors, families, and individuals with low to moderate income. They're going to do assistance for water bills, gas bills, and light bills. They also going to do minor repairs, like to bring grab bars in your homes for seniors, door repairs, carbon monoxide detectors, and also install wheelchair ramps. So they're going to be located in the village of Dolton. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we're going to start off from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And again, bring assistance for water bill payments, light bills, and gas bills. And they're going to come out, and also going to do weatherization. So when it breaks, you know, your furnaces, your windows and doors, they are able to repair those or actually replace them. But they will be starting in the village of Dolton at least 2 weeks from now. They'll do an assessment and tell you what the income limit is. So it's a low to moderate income. Don't know yet. You know, you bring your income in, and then they'll assess and see if they can make the necessary repairs for you. It's going to be in the village hall, downstairs, lower level.
Right now, they're doing the infrastructure, putting in the internet, putting in phone lines for them.
Yes.
They'll be temporarily
So
housed
we're looking
downstairs.
in the next 2 weeks, they should be up and running.
Want to have some for the vets, too, for the vets?
Sorry? It's sort of like CETA. They're bringing CETA to Village Hall. Yeah, but it's going to be in Village Hall, so you don't have to go to Thornton Township. It's right here in our back door.
And-
Yes, Ms. Creighton. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. It wasn't a resolution.
It wasn't a resolution.
No, ma'am.
So it had nothing to do with that.
No, ma'am.
The young lady that you had to stand up and speak?
Right, she just spoke about what we want to do and bring CETA to the village. It wasn't a resolution at all.
Okay,
Just that
so
we're bringing
those are-
these services here in our own backyard.
Great, so it was just two different things. I was just
Yes.
trying to notate it where it should be.
Okay. Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
Yes, it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we are going to have it, you know, posted in the village, and then Ed's going to post it on our website, on the village website. But there will be more information up and coming.
You have one more question?
Yes, ma'am.
My question was going to be directed to you. I want to wait till she finishes.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? But we definitely will have that information and getting that information out. And also, we're going to have foreclosure prevention. Because learning yesterday, there are still a lot of properties being foreclosed in the village. And so we're going to have those services to prevent foreclosure. Okay? Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. And also, I'm having put together a hiring event. It's coming up for the holidays for me, for UPS, at my location in Harvey. So I will need to put on 60 seasonal drivers. So I will be having a hiring event here. September, Liz and I are working on a date for September. So if you know anyone that's 21 years and older, have a clean driving record, want to make $20.50 an hour for the holiday season plus, I will be doing interviews on the spot for those driving positions. So I'll get that date out, but I am looking for drivers and inside manual, and also probably 2 or 3 people that would like to work for me as an assistant for the holiday season, because that's how many people I'm going to be putting on.
Okay, I'm one.
You need a Class C non-CDL license. Clean driving record for a year, 21 years of age, and drive automatic. It's not manual transmission anymore. Okay. So I will have that information coming, but I am putting on a job fair here for my Harvey location. And I need your help to staff my building. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Tammy.
Good morning, everyone. So I just wanted, Ms. Creighton, I think the resolution you were speaking of had to do with the Illinois Housing Development Authority in regards to a grass cutting grant. So I'll explain that to everyone just to get people up to date. So every year we apply for a grass cutting grant. A lot of municipalities participate. We are awarded up to $75,000. There's several rounds that take place throughout the year. There's a lot of tedious paperwork and things that we have to collect. So as we go out throughout the summer months and we cut grass, we do board ups throughout the year. Those are things that we can use to submit receipts for money that we spend in maintaining the village. So certain things like board ups, grass cutting, certain maintenance with abandoned properties, those things can be included in the grant. Last year, I think we got, maybe it was around 40 or 50,000. This year, I think we're getting close to the whole 75,000. But we're going to find out the full amount that we're going to be receiving soon. So there's many rounds that we have to go through to qualify, and that is a way for us to alleviate some of the burden of the cost of abandoning these homes, the cost of maintaining these abandoned homes. So that's just to give you some clarification, Mrs. Creighton. The other thing is that coming up on Sunday, August 25th at Silk and Classy Barbershop, which is 114 East Sibley, from 12 to 5 p.m., we're going to be offering free school supplies, backpacks, pencils, pens, all those kind of things that kids need in order to be successful for the coming school year. We're also going to be offering free manicures for young ladies and free haircuts for young men. So please, if you have any grandchildren, children, anyone in the village of Dolton that you think would take advantage of this, we want to get the kids off on a fresh start for the school year. So that is brought to you by Silk and Classy Barbershop, Mayor Rogers, and Trustee Tammy Brown, Andrew Holmes, and Edward Steave. That's going to be Sunday, August 25th, so the flyer's here. Also, if you would like to donate, we would really appreciate that. You can drop off your supplies at Silk and Classy on 114 Sibley, or you can drop them off at Village Hall. So the date's here. They're on here. We're asking that you drop it off. I think it's prior to August 20th. So if you can drop that off, the kids in the community would greatly appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Is all you may know, Elizabeth Scott is our new village administrator. So she does a great job and stays a lot of hours in that office. So, Mary Kay, why don't you come on up, Mary Kay? Mary Kay wasn't expecting me to call her, but I always do. I like her to bring you up to speed. It's to a little bit of few of the things that go on in the clerk's office, and a number of things that she does. So if you can just brief them just a little bit, Mary Kay, on what the clerk's office does.
Whatever I need to do, and and of course by clerk's office we're talking me. Good morning, everyone. Most of you, particularly longtime residents, may not know that since 2005, the village clerk in Dolton, in the village of Dolton, unlike many other communities, is a part-time position. So I'm in the village hall daily for about half the day. So bear with me. If you call my office, and the reason you may call my office is could be anything. One, it's the first number you find, or two, and I hope this isn't the case, you've called another number and nobody's picked up. But I'm happy to address your questions, whatever they may be, and if they don't involve something that I can help you with, direct you to the proper person or refer your matter to the proper person. Basically, what my position entails is, one, keeping track of the ordinances that we've talked about a bit this morning. You know, what are the laws of the village? What can we do? What can we not do? We are working on, at present, updating our seriously in need of updating welcome packet, and that would be a paper copy that will be available and distributed, but also, of course, online and on our channels. I've been here forever, so I get a little bent out of shape when I see my neighbors leaving their garbage can out there for half a week. Things like that, in fairness, or what day is my garbage pickup, or I have all these branches, and I can speak to this one on a regular basis. What do I do with all these branches? Who will pick them up? What about the tree that's falling down? Who do I call? So we have a lot of questions that new residents and longtime residents who just deal with an issue for the first time need answers to. So we're trying to provide a generic resource for everyone that's readily available, and then maybe do follow-up in particular issues as needed. Yeah, and definitely overdue. I'm like I'm sure everyone that's a regular here at Coffee with the Mayor knows Ashad, Mr. Trish, and he is back with us on a contractual basis, and he is my point man for getting this done finally. Long overdue. I'm certainly concede. We do have a welcome packet that's been available at the Village Hall. The substantive information like pickup day, branch pickups, water bills, you name it, the questions that all of us, and particularly new residents, need answers to has been available. It's just that some of the other information is a little outdated. It's like phone numbers or job positions, responsible parties within the village. So we're trying to make it, and also more user-friendly in formatting. I'm sorry? The FOIAs. I had to have the mayor repeat that 3 times, which is ridiculous. Handling FOIAs, translation, Freedom of Information Act requests. I guess I blocked that one out, Mayor, because that seems to be taking up the majority of my time, much to my frustration. Every unit of government, for the most part, is required by law to disclose upon request most information that passes through the Village of Dolton. That can be anything, frankly. There are some limited exceptions to protect individuals' privacy, employees' privacy, residents' privacy, but for the most part, if you want to know, I don't even want to go there. If you want to know what the ordinance is regarding the water bill or tree removal, and these are the ones that we get a lot of questions regarding, or responsibility for sewer backups. Those are all functions of ordinances passed by the Board of Trustees at one point or another. Our village code is in bad need of a rewrite because it's been patched together and revised again, and amended multiple times over the decades, so that even though I'm probably more familiar with it than anybody, it's difficult even for me sometimes to make heads or tails out of it. So that is something that I am on a mission to do before I leave office, so that we can make the laws of the Village of Dolton completely accessible to everyone online or on paper at the Village Hall and the library, as it used to be once upon a time. In the meantime, I'm the resource person. If you want to know what I can and cannot do, or is this my responsibility or not? Somebody told me I need to do this. Is that true? Somebody told me I shouldn't be doing that. Is that true? What's going on with our Board of Trustees? Thought I'd get somebody's attention here. What are the salaries of our elected officials? Things like that are all public record and are disclosable to anyone, not just residents, who fill out a Freedom of Information Act request form. And that is available online and on paper. Or you can simply email me, and that contact information is also available. Or drop in a hard paper copy request. It doesn't have to be on our form. Unfortunately, most of the requests that we get are not, that I get, I should say, because as many of you know, we are very short-staffed at the Village Hall. Hopefully that will change going forward. So I work with a very much overburdened staff and department heads in trying to collect this information, a lot of which is requested by outside agencies, outside parties, potential lawsuits, not necessarily against the village, but involving individuals in the village, landlords who are angry at tenants, tenants who are angry at landlords, you name it. So it's a burden on municipalities in particular, because most of us, particularly in the Southland, we're short-staffed and under-budgeted, so it takes up an enormous amount of our time that we would, while happy to provide information to folks who are interested, and certainly to residents who are interested, it takes a lot of time and paper processing. So if you have requested a Freedom of Information Act through a Freedom of Information Act process, and you have not had a timely response, believe me, I'm sorry for that. We're doing the best we can, but residents should know in particular that we do make your requests for information a priority. So do call me if you do not get a timely response. Anything else I blocked out, Mayor? Okay. I just want to remind everybody also that because the summer months, the Board of Trustees is not meeting on its regular basis, which is usually the first and third Mondays of the month at 6:30 at the Village Hall. So for the month of August, we've had our one scheduled meeting of the month this past Monday. And the next scheduled meeting, and I'm blanking out on the date, bear with me, is the day after Labor Day. So that Monday, the
September
first
3rd.
Monday, is
September 3rd.
Thank you. Don't want to get there. Don't want summer to end, but quite so soon because it always goes so fast. So the next scheduled meeting will not be on Monday, the first Monday. It'll be the day after Labor Day, September 3rd. Thank you, Ed. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Mary Kay Duggan, our village clerk. Ed, come on up and maybe give us a little bit of update on what's going on in the Melanie Fitness Center.
Yes, Melanie Fitness Center, which has been a sore spot for a few people. And some people may ask, why do I want to take on Melanie Fitness? You know, on my campaign literature, I said we wanted to work to save Melanie Fitness. I at least try to live up to what I said I was going to do. So that's the reason why I elected or chose to be the chairperson over Melanie Fitness. And right now, I just talked to somebody Friday. I'm supposed to hear back Monday about the pool. And I'm probably going to call her 20 times until I hear from her. She's going to call somebody at the state. So that's what we're working on. We should have it. They've been putting us off for the last month, 2 months, but we're waiting on the state. That's on us. That's on the state, not on us. We did everything on our part. Once the state comes in and give us the permits, so we can finish it off. We also have I don't know if anybody goes over to the gym, we have a lot of duct tape and things on the equipment. That will be reupholstered and stuff like this week. We got some new instructors coming. We got a yoga class coming. We have a lady who does detoxes and smoothies and healthy food that's going to be renting out. There's a spot in here that you can fix food in Melanie. So that's coming by the end of this month. She's really excited. So there's going to be some good things coming over there. Be on the lookout. She wants to do a yoga class while it's still warm right out in the front lawn. So if you ride past, you might see some people doing yoga out there. So if you see it, stop and just come in and join on in. But there's going to be a lot of new classes, new trainers, new energy over there. And a lot of us have, I don't mean personally, I have a physical ailment, so I have to stay up on my workout, on my eating, and on my health, because your health is your wealth. So I want to encourage everybody who live in the village to come out and get a membership at Melanie Fitness. And also, we're going to have a $1,000 weight loss challenge starting in September. So if you want to get into that $1,000 weight loss, because I'm going to get into it because I want to win $1,000. But we're going to be and we're going to do it throughout the whole Southland. So we're going to invite everybody. You got to come weigh in at Melanie Fitness. You got to come get a membership at Melanie Fitness. You come and weigh in once a week, and we're going to definitely record it and document it, and so we can get people involved and excited about Melanie Fitness. Because a lot of times I'm taking people, new trainers, to come in. I'm taking them to tour, and they didn't know. One guy in Harvey said, I live in Harvey, I didn't even know this was here. He said, I go all the way to LA Fitness on Torrance. He said, I would have been coming here. So a lot of people in the village and the surrounding suburbs like Harvey and Riverdale who don't have a workout facility don't know about Melanie Fitness. So we're moving forward. And keep your ear to the street, or keep your ear to Channel 4, the website, Channel 499, no email blast. But we're going to be doing a lot of great things at Melanie Fitness and changing the whole culture of Melanie Fitness. So be on the lookout. Thank you.
And if you don't, go ahead. If you don't have access to Xfinity, Comcast, and or AT&T, we will be bringing our Sentinel back very shortly. So that will go out to the whole village so you can stay abreast about what's going on in the village.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Deputy Chief Lacey, you want to come on up? We're going to be holding our drawing here in a few minutes so we can be out on time. Just wanted you to talk a little bit about what we've done in the last couple of 2 to 3 weeks, in regards to crime prevention and arrest.
How y'all doing this morning? I'm Deputy Chief Lacey. I am a 27-year veteran of the police department. I started out part-time and moved up from there. I actually held a lot of hats. However, since I've been deputy chief, we've implemented, myself, the chief, the mayor's office, and the mayor, we've implemented different programs. And if you go around town, you'll probably see a lot of things that were going on as far as people hanging out at the stores and just people hanging out, period. We've kind of like brought down to a trickle. We need time, and we're taking time. And please excuse me, I wouldn't expect to be called up, but of course my mayor called me. But we're working on it. If you have a problem, call us. We're very active right now. We're hiring new officers. We're putting new teams out there to combat the things that are going on. If you see in the city, I mean, it's just crazy. I think that we're doing a lot better than what we were. However, it's going to take time to do it. A lot of things have stopped in the village of Dolton from the programs that have been implemented. So I'm going to say, if you have a problem, call us. It doesn't make a difference what time. We're a 24-hour business, so which means, guess what? You can pick up that phone and call us. If you have a problem to where you have a problem with one of the employees at our station, then by all means ask for a supervisor. But for the most part, like I tell our staff, that we work for you. So therefore, if you have a problem, then you let us know and we'll deal with it. But for the most part, we were getting new vehicles in. There's a vehicle that we're using currently that the mayor implemented in reference to our inventory, transports, our evidence transport, things like that we're doing that are positive with the police department. So we're growing. It's just, with anything, it takes time, but I think we're doing a lot better than what we were. But for the most part, that's pretty much all I have, sir.
Thank you, Deputy Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I keep getting a lot of my phone, and they going to get my purse. That's not you. But when you, when I went to the DMV, the lady told me if the officer had simply stamped my police report, I wouldn't have to pay the $8. So I wanted to let everybody know. So if somebody steal your purse or your wallet and you go get your license at the DMV, if the police stamp the report, you don't have to make a payment.
Well, what happens with that is, I don't know about the stamping part, but when you come to make a report, when you have something like that, your license and so forth, I know exactly what you're talking about. You're given a card, and that card has an incident number on it. That number in itself should support what she's saying. Okay. Stamped.
Okay, we can just get a stamp.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something that I'll let the chief know and the mayor send himself, so we'll
Right.
start, stamping it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Okay. When can we anticipate the plaques to go in the windows and the doors? Is that the one that said we call police? Good question. I'll make that note. We'll get them done. Okay. Okay. There was something I wanted. Yeah, Trustee Holmes, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Good morning, everyone. First give God some praise, but thank you all who have came out and voted for me. I carried a great number on the vote to win, and I'm expected to do what I have to do for the village of Dolton. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it at this. At the next police board meeting, which I'm gonna get a date, it's gonna be a day of action, not a day of just come in with the usual and complaint about things that are going on in Dolton that you are not helping with in the first place. So the shoelaces are tied up. On this date, I'm gonna have plenty of food and plenty of drinks. It's a day of action. You get tired. Dr. King done march. So marching days are over with. A lot of bloodshed across the United States, in Dolton, in Chicago. Dr. King did what he had to do. People want to get up and people want to march. Day of action. See, when you see me on TV, I don't be with a crowd, I be by myself. The crowd is for that camera. I care less about that camera. But so be it. If the media follow me, they follow me. This day of action in Dolton is going to take place. And all I'm asking, tell it to your neighbors, block by block. Let's fill that room. Send a message to your neighbor, to the person on the next block, and I done said it over and over again. The buck stops here. Drug houses, car cracking, any criminal activity that's going on in Dolton, just start moving, because when this day of action start, and you come in with the complaints, I'm gonna have some pencils and pens for those who wanna write it down. All I need you to do is write the house down, write the problem down. That's just it. Write it down, write the problem down, write the house. Where Jimmy stay, John stay, what's going on. The auto yards, they might well start moving too, because you're part of the problem, not the solution. All your abandoned cars out there that's on your blocks, come on in to this action day. You know what, I'm gonna campaign just like I campaign and ask for your vote. I'm gonna be campaigning door to door, putting out flyers for this action day, and all I want is this room filled, block by block, neighbor by neighbor. Come on in with those problems, because guess what? It's over, and I've said it over and over again, and I'm gonna say it again. I carry a great amount of people that voted for me. I'm gonna stand up for you. I'm gonna be addressing that complaint. When that complaint comes in at action day, that next week, I'm gonna be working police department inside, outside of Dolton, and I'm gonna start moving them up out of here. That's all I have to say.
That police meeting has been moved to the last Saturday of the month, 10 a.m. at Village Hall. Last Saturday of the month, 10 a.m. Village Hall. Okay, time for our raffle. Oh, the Dolton Bears are out this week, next week at the corners of Sibley and Lincoln, and Sibley and Greenwood. Dolton Bears, Dolton Elites, they're out collecting for their season. So if you can help them out, please do.